Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing fine. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class, The Daily Current Affairs, which are a one-stop solution for not only prelims but also the mains examination. This particular class is going to mold your mind how to tackle the prelims question. Prelims is the most dreaded and unpredictable part of the entire pattern. That is why it is important that you solve the MCQs on a daily basis, because it is not going to occur to you magically one day that yes, this is how we should tackle prelims. Do not worry about notes. I am just expecting you to pay attention to what I teach here. Notes will be given through my Telegram channel, Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any queries, you can talk to me on my Instagram and follow me on my threads. These are the various events that we have to understand today. First, let's talk about this question, which was actually a practice question for you when I gave you to solve. The World Cities Day designated by the United Nations falls on, these are the given options. The correct answer to this question is option D, 31st of October. On 31st of October, there are two cities from India, Gwalior and Kozhikode, that have been added in the UNESCO's Creative Cities Network, and that is why this question has been important. Let's know more about it. So Gwalior and Kozhikode are among the 55 new cities. Other cities include from the world, Bukhara for crafts and folk art, Casablanca for media arts, Chongqing for design, Kathmandu for film, Rio de Janeiro for literature, and Ulaanbaatar for again craft and folk art. And from India we have Gwalior and Kozhikode. Gwalior has been added in the music category. When it comes to Kozhikode, it has been added for the literature category. Here Rio de Janeiro has also been added for the same. Why but? Sometimes UPSC also loves to ask in-depth kind of questions. So why they have been added? According to the website of the UNESCO, culture and creativity have been used for the developmental strategies by these two cities. Also, they have displayed innovative practices in human-centered urban planning. That means urban planning should be human-centered for the best of the human development. Also, sometimes match the following kind of questions can also be asked. Name of the cities would be given, doesn't matter if it's from India or around the world, it can be a mixture of both, and in which category they have been put so. So you have to answer it accordingly. So that is why you have to attend these classes in order to understand what kind of questions can be asked. I can just go on and on about the kinds of things you have to read, the subjects you have to read, but eventually if you do not know what kind of questions are going to be asked, reading and studying is really futile. All right, moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements with respect to the Collegium system. Its origin can be traced back to the recommendations of the Bar Council of India at a summit or seminar in Ahmedabad in 1981. The second judge's case of 1993 established the Chief Justice of India's primacy in appointment and transfers of judges. And no settled criteria of appointment is one of the criticisms of the Collegium system. How many of the statements given above is or are correct? See, the Collegium, the word Collegium, the term Collegium basically means it is a group of people who belong to the judiciary, and they are responsible for making transfers and appointments of judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court. And this particular system has not been mentioned in the Constitution of India. It actually came into existence through the three judges case. The first judges case, the SP Gupta case in 1981, second 1993. Eventually the third judges case was in 1998. So these three judges cases have made it possible the birth of the Collegium system. Although the origin can be traced back to 1981, when the Bar Council of India at a seminar in Ahmedabad termed this, that we should have a system like this. So first is correct. In the first judge's case of 1981, the Supreme Court was mulling over the importance of Article 124. There is a usage of a term, consultation. In the first judge's case, the apex court said, consultation doesn't mean that the president has to concur with the opinions of the judges. That means it doesn't matter if the judiciary is in favor of some elevation or some transfer or not. The president can, by their own mind, of course, with the help of the executive, choose to, agree to this or disagree to this. So, first judge's case ensured that the primacy of executive is there. The word consultation doesn't mean concurrence. The second judge's case actually said no. Consultation actually means concurrence, that you have to agree to the opinion of the Chief Justice of India and the judiciary. So second is correct here. First is also correct. One of the greatest criticisms of the Collegium system is that it is very opaque in nature. There is a rampant usage of favoritism, nepotism, and elitism. Also, there is no set criteria that these are the different kinds of criteria over which I will appoint any judge, I will promote any judge, or I will transfer any judge. So this is one of the biggest criticism. Third is also correct. All three will be the correct answer. The number of women chief justices in the country will go up now. Earlier, we had only one woman CJ, Chief Justice, that of the Gujarat High Court, Justice Sunita Agrawal ji. Now, Supreme Court Collegium has recommended the transfer of Justice Ritu Bahari as Chief Justice of the Uttarakhand High Court. Right now, she is an acting Chief Justice for the Punjab and Haryana High Court. So keep these small things in mind. Now we have two women Chief Justices. This is a step in the right direction in order to achieve equality in the judiciary scenario, which is highly male dominated. Alright, moving on. The Collegium is a system under which the appointments and transfer of judges are decided by a forum which is headed by the Chief Justice of India. For Supreme Court, there are other four senior most judges. When it comes to the High Courts, there is a Chief Justice and two senior judges. Remember the difference. Also, the term Collegium is not mentioned in the Indian Constitution. I have told you about this and this as well. Next, with respect to the Directorate of Enforcement, consider the following statements. It was initially established as the enforcement unit in order to deal with the violations of the erstwhile Foreign Exchange Regulation Act of 1947. Section 19 of the PML Act empowers the ED's director or any other officer authorized by the Union government to arrest a person who they believe is guilty of an offence under the Act. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? First is definitely correct. The Enforcement Directorate is basically a law enforcing agency. It came into existence in 1956. It became an enforcement unit. Now it works under the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. Sometimes UPSC can also ask us the ministry under which any organization is working. It is one of the most fearful, dreaded institutions in India because it is very powerful. I have completely covered this in detail today. You can watch it on StudyIQ IAS English. And it was initially established as an enforcement unit. This is definitely correct. 1956, in order to look at the violations of the erstwhile Foreign Exchange Regulation Act 1947. Now it is also responsible for PML Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and Economic Fugitive Offenders Act as well. And Section 19 of the PML Act actually empowers that ED's director or any other officer who is authorized by the Union government can make arrest if there is a suspicion under the Act. Okay, first and second both are correct. Both 1 and 2 is the correct answer. Recently, Rajasthan Anti-Corruption Bureau arrested an enforcement officer of Enforcement Directorate and his associate in Jaipur for allegedly demanding a bribe of Rs 15 lakh. Other than this, we have also known that ED issued a summon to the Chief Minister of Delhi, but he didn't come there. That means he skipped the notice or summon. Now, the ED can keep on giving summons to the Chief Minister until and unless he comes to the office for investigation, or the ED can also approach the concerned court and get a non-bailable warrant against him, or the ED can reach his residence and conduct investigation. If there is concrete evidence, they can also arrest him. So these are the things that you had to know with respect to the liquor policy scam. Moving on, the ED was initially established as an enforcement unit, and the PML Act later on in 2005 vitalized the ED. Other kinds of acts I have already told you: Fugitive Economic Offenders Act of 2018, Foreign Exchange Management Act of 1999, PML Act. These all are enforced by the ED. Section 19 of the PML Act actually enforces or empowers the ED's director, deputy director, assistant director, or any officer who is authorized by the Union government to arrest a person who they believe is guilty of an offence under the Act. Moving on. What are the preconditions? As in, under which preconditions a person can be arrested if they are going to be that for ED. Materials in their possession, if there is any sort of materials that are definitely indicating that that person is guilty. Written reasons that lead them to believe that a person is guilty. With respect to the State Food Safety Index, consider the following statements. It was published for the first time in 2018. It is published by the Indian unit of the World Food Programme in collaboration with the Niti Aayog. Human resources and institutional data is one of the, sorry for this typo, parameters to gauge food safety, and 19 out of 20 large states recorded a drop in their 2023 scores from 2019. So how many of the statements given above is or are correct? It was for the first time ever published in the year 2019. Here it is written 2018. That makes the first statement incorrect. And it is published annually by the FSSAI, Food Safety and Security. So for food safety and security in India, FSSAI is responsible, and the second statement is definitely not correct. First is also not correct. Recently in 2023, a new parameter has been added to gauge, if the states are abiding by the rules of food safety or not. And that has resulted in a drop by the many states when it comes to the condition. So yes, 19 out of 20 large states have recorded a drop in their scores as we compare to years 2019 and 2023. Human resources and institutional data is one of the parameters to watch it. Third is correct, fourth is correct, first and second are not correct. How many are correct? 2 only will be the correct answer. 19 out of 20 large states, namely Maharashtra, Bihar, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, they recorded a drop in their 2023 scores after adjusting for a new parameter which was included in the current index. And 15 out of 20 states recorded lower 2023 scores because of the changes in the methodology. As you see, methodology as in parameter has been added. Newly added parameter is improvement in SFSI rank. That means if we compare to the last year, how better a state is doing in reaching better ranks. This has been added. Other parameters is compliance, consumer empowerment, human resource and institutional data. Also food testing infrastructure, training and capacity building. Remember, UPSC loves to ask about parameters as well. It can give you parameters. How many of the above parameters are employed in order to calculate the state food safety index like this, okay? So remember that this is one of the questions that can be formulated. Steepest fall has been recorded by Maharashtra, Bihar, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. Very importantly, it can be asked. The score out of which one state scores is 100. Total is 100. In this, I have already told you, like we have to also adjust the weightages so that out of 100, it is only 100. It doesn't become 110. So weightages of other parameters were reduced in order to make sure that the exceeded score, the score is not exceeded beyond 100. But Punjab is the only one that has improved as compared to other states. That means it has been consistently improving. In India, it is legally mandatory for which of the following to report on cybersecurity incidents? Service providers, data centers, body corporate. Select the correct using the codes given below. So how many of these have a mandate according to the rules that if there is any sort of cybersecurity incident, then you have to report it? Actually, all of them. So all three will be the correct answer. Recently, we saw that there were snooping charges on the government of India by different opposition leaders saying that Apple has sent us a message. These alerts that there is a state-sponsored hacking that is going on. Now, Apple says that sometimes what happens due to issues with the pattern, if the pattern is not complete or perfect, false alarms can also be there. But the opposition is the opposition. But of course, their concerns are also valid. So right now, a probe is going on. And this probe is being done by CERT-In, and which is the nodal agency that deals with the cybersecurity threats. Also, Apple has joined the probe. It has begun its investigation on that. According to Section 70B of the Information Technology Act of 2000, the Union Government by notification should appoint any agency by the name of CERT-In, Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, similarly CERT-In, to serve as the National Agency for Incident Response. Similarly, rules were also notified in the year 2014. Rule 12, Clause 1, Subclause A makes it mandatory for service providers, intermediaries, data centers and corporate bodies to report cybersecurity incidences to CERT-In. Next, which of the following organization releases Financial Inclusion Index? International Monetary Fund, Asian Development Bank, Securities and Exchanges Board of India and Reserve Bank of India. The correct answer is Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India basically does it to ensure that the country is financially included. That means technologies that are financial in nature are also being accessed by people from not only urban India but rural India. So there are 3 parameters on which RBI does it. These 3 parameters include access, usage and quality. It was published in August 2021 for the data of March 2021. And the Reserve Bank of India has constructed this particular index to capture the extent of what is the financial inclusion in the country. Access, that means, are people having access to bank accounts, ATMs, bank facilities? What is the usage? It's not like I have opened a bank account and that is remaining stagnant. I'm not investing it or using anything with respect to that bank account. Usage and quality. What kind of quality I am getting? Ease of access, availability and usage of services and quality of services. There are 97 indicators, but we do not have any base year for it from which we can compare. Which of the following countries has come in last in a global ranking of employees' well-being in survey which was conducted by McKinsey Health Institute? India, Japan, Pakistan, UK. The correct answer to this question is Japan, and this comes really at a time when there has been a statement that has been made by Narayan Murthy ji that every corporate employee or youngster or IT worker should work 70 hours a week. And this particular statement that he made is being seen as a controversy. We are not going to talk about that, but see, Japan came in last in a global ranking of employees' well-being, and it was measured by assessing what is the physical, mental, social and spiritual health. That means employees are physically healthy, mentally healthy, are they having enough social relationships or not? Because if you are just devoting 10-12 hours on a daily basis to the office, what will be your social life? And the spiritual health as well. Spiritual health is really important because that is the need. McKinsey Health Institute has showed that Japan has ranked actually 25%, and this is not good. This ranking or this survey was conducted across 30 countries among 30,000 workers. Turkey was highest at 78%. India followed with 76%. Here is Turkey. So we have to go like this. Okay. Turkey is the best in this particular survey, then India, then China, then Nigeria. So remember, comparative analysis can be made. Japan ranks last. Japan is also very notorious. Sometimes it provides, not sometimes, it has been known to provide lifelong job to people. That makes it really hard for them to switch. So this is the reason. 76 is for India, 75% for India. What is the global average? 57%. This is a practice question for you. It is a small village where a Sangam era archaeological site was discovered. The findings from this place are divided into 6 blocks, building a narrative of Tamil life as it existed 2500 years ago, including an agrarian system, pottery, technology, burial methods, and evidence of writing. The archaeological site which is being referred to is, these are the given options. Let me take the names of those students who have answered my last question correctly. So stay with me for a moment, please. 31st of October, right? Gopesh, Swati, Shruti, Suresh, Shruti again, Shruti Ja. Arslan, Vijayashri, Komal, Abhishek, Shubhendu, Padmashri, Rashika, Mitlesh, thank you so much. Abul, thank you. Shubham, thank you. Good evening, Lalit. Riya, very good. Amrut, Siddharth, Mindful Shubh, Ankit, Pavan, Shantanu, Pragati, Priyadarshan, Vinayak, Manish, thank you Pratiksha, Prabhat, Anfas, Prabhat Kumar, Swati Yogendra, Mukul, Unnati, Ritu. Thank you for answering the last question. There is a pointing out by easy English learning. See, that's true that due to the climate change, areas which became more accessible to vectors are now increasing towards the north. But there has been a study that has been done by the IISC, and this study was published in May, which has clearly shown us that not only climate change is a reason, but their evolution is also taken into account, right? So thank you so much for watching and stay updated.